I just want to come out and start this commentary by saying, first off, if talking smack about game companies or anything like that, or revealing things or anything like that makes you uncomfortable, I'm just going to do you a favor and recommend that you just click off this video, just watch something else, you know, look at some cute bunny rabbits or something like that. I'd recommend doing that. If, however, you do want to hear what this video is about and such, and you want to continue, thank you very much. Enjoy your stay. Let's continue with this. Alright, are they gone? Okay. Good. They're gone. Anyways, hey, what's going on, everyone? This is me, Mr. Mario. Anyways, what are we going to be talking about today? I've had this topic in my head for the past 2 days or so, and I really wanted to talk about it. And I want to ask, should game companies be allowed to have redos or do-overs? More specifically, console manufacturers and such. This came into my head because people have said this about the Wii U, and now they're saying it about the Xbox One. But a few days ago, I had seen this article where Kojima had come out and said that compared to, he was talking about the new Metal Gear Solid game, Metal Gear Solid 5 Ground Zeroes, and he said that on the Xbox One, it runs at a native 720p 60 frames a second. On PlayStation 4, 1080p 60 frames a second. Now this has people clamoring and talking and saying, you know, this is unbelievable, this system is more, it costs more, the Xbox One costs a whopping $100 more. And that's, we're getting the discount. The Americans here are getting the discount. You guys across the pond are going to have to pay more than $100 for your system over there. But it is more expensive than the PlayStation 4 by a big margin. And it is less powerful. Now, I have talked about this before, and I have said, you know, it is because people are getting used to the new hardware and such. Yes, it is x86 architecture, but it is not a straight PC to work with. With all of that, I have said, you know, give the system a few months to at least a year, and you're going to see that games are going to get better. That's what happened with last generation, and it will happen with this generation. But here's the thing. The PlayStation 4 is still going to be ahead. I am not going to say no to that. It will still be ahead, no matter what. Now, people are saying, you know, the power difference on these, they're trying to compare it, like saying a Pentium 4 is pretty much the Xbox One, and a Core i5, let's say, is pretty much the PlayStation 4. No, that's not how it is, alright? I think a more respectful thing would say, let's say we're comparing a 2nd gen i5 to a 4th gen i5, alright? And that would be Xbox One, PlayStation 4, respectively. That's about how it should be. Anyways, what I'm trying to say is the Xbox One, in short, is less powerful, but it costs more. And I understand how the costs are and everything because they are bundling it with the Kinect and all that. But first off, what Microsoft needs to do is they need to lower the price on the system. They need to make some type of system that costs $400. There have been rumors that they will make a discless system because you know Microsoft, they do not want to sell the Xbox without the Kinect. And honestly, I do have an Xbox One, I have a PlayStation 4. I love both systems, and I will say the Kinect is great on the Xbox One, but even though they're saying they're not going to sell one without a Kinect, I feel like they're going to sell one without a Kinect. They're going to in a few years. They have to. That would be a smart move. But anyways, talking about these systems, people were saying that not only Nintendo should do this, but also the Xbox should do this, and they should kind of have a do-over. Now, in case you don't know, the Wii U is just, that's just kind of a nightmare architecture-wise compared to the Xbox and the PlayStation 4. That are out right now. These new systems, you know, they're a lot more powerful. They're true next-gen systems. They're running on x86 architecture, which is what developers have been used to for years. The Wii U, they decided to go proprietary power PC. They split the RAM just like the PS3, and we all know what a nightmare that was. So, should companies get a do-over? I'm saying that again because I think they shouldn't. You release hardware, you stick to it. And this is why. There was one guy in that article that I was originally talking about, and he said, you know what? The Xbox One, I am a loyal Xbox One fan, but this is ridiculous. I paid $100 more for a less powerful system. What Microsoft should do is they should scrap the Xbox One. They should end up releasing the Xbox One version 2 that's more powerful and perhaps a better price, and there we'll be able to compete with the PlayStation 4 more. I was just thinking, no, this is a terrible idea. No. And I'm going to explain why. First off, this is just going to confuse the market. It will confuse the market. Game consoles are not phones. They are not PCs, as much as they are trying to be. With a phone, you buy a phone and you expect to replace it in about 1.5 to 2 years. That's why all these cell phone manufacturers, well, not manufacturers, but these cell companies and such, they have, 2-year agreements, and within a year and a half of that agreement, normally you can get a new phone if you want to renew early. With computers, more than likely, those are going to last at most, 5 years or so. Now, yes, you're probably going to have your parents and your great-grandparents who have those computers that last for 8 or 9 years. Listen, if you're really tech savvy and you don't want to wait for your computer to turn on, for 10 minutes, you're probably going to end up replacing your computer or at least rebuilding your computer, which will be a cheaper option, but will still pretty much be like getting a new computer every few years. With a game console, especially last generation when Sony introduced their whole 10-year program, it's now expected that game consoles get support for 10 years. It was 2013 when the PlayStation 4 and the Xbox One launched. By 2020, do I still want to see support for these systems? Yes, I do, even though I know they're not going to be as, technologically advanced as they are now. Even now, I'll say they're really nothing too special, especially since I have more RAM in my computer, for example. But what I'm trying to say is I still expect support on those systems. I don't expect them to completely drop it. Look at the Xbox 360 and the PlayStation 3. They are still supporting those, even though the new systems are out, even though these systems are 7 and 8 years old. You know what? Let's go ahead and look at the PlayStation 3, alright? The PlayStation 3, for example, when that came out, it was a more powerful system. The game selection was pretty poor on it, honestly, compared to the Xbox 360 for a while. Now, yes, it didn't have as many hardware failures and such, but the hardware itself, the processor was a 7-core, I want to say a Cell CPU, I think that's what it was called, and it was a nightmare for developers to code for. And, I'm bringing up the PS3 because this is a system, it's pretty recent. People would think about this. About a year ago, less than a year ago, the PS3 finally outsold the Xbox 360 worldwide. Now, what if Sony had done that? What if Sony had decided, oh, we messed up real bad, we split the RAM on the system, we put in this really stupid proprietary CPU on here that no one can work with? You know what? No, we're dropping all support for the PlayStation 3. We're just dropping it. That's it. We're dropping it. We're going to release the PlayStation 3 version 2, the PlayStation 3 do-over, and we're going to make people happy with that. Do you know how much that would have pissed off people? Even if you did it a year into the PS3's life cycle. First off, look at the PS3 now. Look at how successful it is. Look at how many games came out for it, despite all the hardware issues and such it had. I'm talking about development, not general hardware failures, although it did fail a decent amount, later on in its life. But look at things like that. Also, let's go ahead and talk about this too. Imagine if you just got a game system, and then, a year later, the company says, oh, you know what, we're going to release the version 2 of that system. So, you guys on version 1, well, too bad. We're either not going to support you, or you're going to get the short end of the straw here. Imagine how much that would have pissed you off. I mean, these systems aren't that cheap, When the Xbox 360 first came out, that was $300-$400. The PS3, $500-$600. Now this generation, $500 for an Xbox One, $400 for a PlayStation 4. These are, expensive little pieces of hardware. I don't think people want to go out and buy a new system every single year or every 2 years because of things like that, just because the company's screwed up. How is that my fault if the company's screwed up? Look, all I'm trying to say here is if this happens, if companies get do-overs, people are going to lose faith in companies. If you don't believe me, look at Sega. Remember how popular the Genesis was? And they released the 32X and dropped support on that? And they released the Sega CD and dropped support on that, maybe not in that order. And then they released the Sega Saturn and said the Saturn is not our future. By the time the Dreamcast came around, yes, it was successful, but a lot of people had dropped support for Sega completely because they said, you know what, you screwed us over 3 times in a row? No, we're not getting your new system. Anyways, this is Mr. Mario, signing off. Thank you for watching, everyone. I hope you all enjoy this, and yeah, you know what? Just go ahead and let me know what you think of this. Personally, if a company puts out a system, I really don't think it should get a do-over. And these systems are going to do much better later on. Especially look at the systems. They've already sold millions. Why would you drop support on that? Anyways, signing off for real this time. Later, everyone.